Right, let's try this again, shall we? Everybody! La me de 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 de, qu'on va danser. Le long des gauves de, à des reflets des ajours. La me de, des réflexions, c'est la pilier. Right, is the microphone fixed? I think the microphone's back. Sorry for the technical difficulties and sorry for keeping everybody up. I need to get this PC sorted. I've been having some problems with one of the sections of the USB ports in the back. It seems like one of the plates for USBs is a bit broken because from time to time the camera will freeze. And tonight, for the first time, the microphone stopped working, so I've switched it to a different set of USBs, and we've got the microphone working back up again. Anyway, all the technicalities aside, it's good to be here. We're going to be live for the next, 45 minutes or hour or so, late night stream, because a hell of a lot is happening at Celtic this evening. They dropped the huge news on us 45 minutes before kickoff. Or I should say roughly an hour before kickoff, that Wilfried Nancy has been appointed the new permanent manager of the club. And alongside that, that obviously means that tonight was Martin O'Neill's final game in charge. He goes out with a 1-0 win against Dundee, which, with some other results in Scotland tonight, puts us joint top of the Scottish Premiership table. And we have a whole lot to talk about. So the next wee while on this stream, I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to get your opinions. We're going to look over the news and stuff first before I turn to the chat, before we talk to you guys. But it's happening very differently from how I expected. I always thought this news would come during the day. We would spend a good couple of hours just live on stream reacting to news as it dropped, maybe reacting to the first press conference and stuff like that. But the timeline for everything that's about to happen is kind of unknown, and we'll talk about that as the stream goes on. I do feel like it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, right enough, that we do have this huge piece of news to cover tonight, because the game itself, I was dreading coming to do a match reaction. If you took that news away about the new manager, I would have been coming here dreading doing a match reaction because there was bugger all to talk about. We'll get to the thank yous of Martin O'Neill in a moment, but it was a terrible game. We played badly. We were really, really poor. The game itself was questionable decisions. It was a dire watch at times. But what matters is we got the 3 points. And Martin O'Neill ends this run as interim boss with a perfect domestic record. He won every single game in charge whilst interim boss of Celtic, all the way from that 4-0 win against Falkirk last month to the game tonight against Dundee at Celtic Park on 100% record. And he goes with obviously the best wishes of every Celtic fan, but I think I speak for basically everybody when saying he is... Thank you for the donation. We'll get to that in a moment. I think I speak for everyone when I say he goes with the appreciation of every Celtic fan. It's bittersweet. I don't want Martin to go, but I understand he has to go and he wants to go as well. But I wish it could have lasted a little bit longer deep down inside me. But every Celtic fan will miss him dearly and will thank him for everything that he's done. I very rarely ever say that I think I speak for everybody in this channel, because I don't speak for everybody. I don't. I've never said that I represent anybody bar myself on this channel, but I think I can safely say that I speak for so many people when saying, Martin O'Neill, thank you. You're an absolute legend. And this wasn't easy, by the way. What Martin O'Neill came in and done was so difficult. You know, like the run of games that he had were tough. And let's be real, I'm not going to rewrite things. They weren't pretty. St Mirren, we were so close to dropping points. It was a Callum McGregor last minute winner. Easter Road, second half, we were terrible. Hibs could have taken advantage of us. Tonight, we weren't great. The performances were what you would expect out of a below par Celtic squad. But what matters is we had a manager who had all the grit, determination, character and winning mentality of Martin O'Neill to come in and get those results. And I think that, Wilfried Nancy, for a fact, will be so thankful to Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, Mark Fotheringham and the rest of this group that have come in to get the tune out of this side and to get the results. Because even though it's not been pretty, what matters was the points. What mattered was the momentum, and it was turning a corner for this Celtic team, and Martin O'Neill has turned that corner for us. and I will be forever grateful for that. So we do have the big statement to go over. We'll get to that in a minute. Thank you to MC Barry Boy for the £5. Appreciate the donation, fella. Remember, if you haven't already, go down below, hit like, hit subscribe. We will be streaming for the next wee while. He says, born 3 years too late for Martin O'Neill's first stint, so I'm glad I got to experience what my dad and late Papa got for 5 years. I feel the same. I mean, I was born in 2000, he left in 2005. I don't remember a fucking thing of what happened in those first 5 years of my life in regards to Celtic, so I'm glad that we get that, and people, you know, in my generation and similar generations, I said this the other night, I feel like anybody born after the year maybe like 1996, anybody from that year onwards probably got to experience Martin O'Neill for the first time in this interim basis, and that in itself was very fortunate, I think. You know, I never ever dreamed that I would get the chance to witness a Martin O'Neill Celtic side. And don't get me wrong, everybody who was born before the likes of 1996, they got to witness a Martin O'Neill side that had Henrik Larsson and Chris Sutton and Stan Petrov and Paul Lambert and Bobo Baldi and Didier Agat and all these great players. I think that we drew the short straw, but just to have the man himself and the character Martin O'Neill, and to experience the press conferences and the moments and just the sheer affection that there was between a support and a man like him, I think it's very, very nice that we got that experience. So we'll probably talk about Martin O'Neill a little bit later on in the stream, don't get me wrong. I think we'll end up coming back to that, but we have a lot to talk about. And before we talk about Wilfried Nancy, should we have a look at how the Scottish Premiership table sits after match day 14 in tonight's game? Can I make it clear, we're probably not going to talk a lot about tonight's game. It was pish. Right, it was terrible, and this is my cop-out from having to do a match reaction. All I can say is, we need investment. We need players in January. Pronto. Dyson Maeda, you're a warrior, by the way. Let me switch over to the league table very, very quickly, and this is how things stand. Both Hearts and Rangers dropped points tonight in the Scottish Premiership. The electric Bears keep rolling for Danny Rowe. They're now 9 points behind Celtic. He's got them playing electric, everybody. We should be fair. Danny Rowe, baby. What's the song again? You gotta roll with it. No, I'm sorry. I apologise to everybody for that. Rangers did drop points and were very fortunate to actually get a point tonight, meaning they are 9 points behind us. But at the top of the table, where the big boys play, Celtic are now joint top on points with Hearts. The only difference between the two of us right now is the goals. A 3 better off goal difference for Hearts, 18 goal difference compared to Celtic's 15. That is what splits the difference at the top of the table right now. So, with a game in hand, and with Hearts to play at the weekend, the landscape in the Scottish Premiership could change very, very soon. And when I say very, very soon, I mean this weekend in Wilfried Nancy's first game in charge. Should we beat Hearts at Celtic Park on Sunday, Celtic will go top of the table by 3 whole points. And if we win our game in hand, Celtic at some stage could be 6 points clear. So, things have changed very, very quickly. There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a long way to go. This is a marathon, not a sprint, but we are champions for a reason, and we have been defending champions back to back to back for a reason now. And before that, we were defending champions back to 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 back for a reason. Because we have just a team of winners, and that's what's most important in this league. So yeah, Celtic looking okay now after what was a shaky start to the season. Match day 14, and after match day 15, we could be back at the top of the table. But the huge news, and the news that we do need to talk about, and as I said, we will get to all you guys. Don't worry, I know you are in here dying to get your points in and all the rest of it. But the huge news that we have to talk about, and it's wild. It feels so strange, this, because this is like, you know, era-defining stuff potentially. And since I've started this YouTube channel, I started this in Rodgers' first season, back in 2016. And in my time, I have seen Rodgers depart, Neil Lennon come in, Neil Lennon depart, Ange Postecoglou come in, Ange Postecoglou depart, Brendan Rodgers come back, Brendan Rodgers depart, and now Nancy coming back. And every time one of those things change, it feels like it's a new beginning for everything Celtic related, including this very channel. I feel like it's the start of a new era. And I feel like there's like a whole day that should be dedicated to talking about the new manager, to talking about the statements, to talking about all those things. And the fact that I've had to do this at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night feels bizarre, because this feels like something that we should be doing, 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer, not on December 3rd, 2025. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Celtic are delighted to appoint Wilfried Nancy as the new manager of Celtic Football Club. The statement was dropped, as I said, roughly an hour before kick-off this evening. I thought they would have maybe held off, but I guess they wanted to make the clarification, to at least clarify the situation that Martin O'Neill would be managing his last game, so that it didn't feel out of pocket or out of place. Is Fozzie away? Is there, we'll probably cover. Is Fozzie away? No, I've not even started reading the statement yet. I will be heartbroken if Fotheringham is gone. Is there full on? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Celtic are delighted to appoint Wilfried Nancy as a new manager. The statement this evening saying that Celtic Football Club is delighted to announce the appointment of Wilfried Nancy as its new... This is the bit I was kind of weirded out by. As its new football manager on a 2.5-year contract. Wilfried will begin his new role on December 4th, 2025. Now, is it just me that read that and went, why did they use, like, football manager? Like, that is... Sometimes there is reading to do there, because we've had people being announced as, first team coach, we've had people announced as just football man. It's almost as if they've name dropped the actual video game Football Manager, capital F, capital M. It's as if they're giving they're name dropping the actual franchise of Football Manager. Nonetheless, he will start his role tomorrow on December 4th, 2025. Wilfried joins Celtic from the MLS club Columbus Crew, where he lifted the MLS Cup and the Leagues Cup, as well as being named the MLS Coach of the Year in 2024. Prior to that, he also won the Canadian Championship with CF Montreal in 2021. Wilfried, there is a video that has been shared by Celtic of Wilfried Nancy. It was clearly recorded with some distance in between. It was like a fucking FaceTime call, basically. There is a lot of words here. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm especially not going to read what Michael Nicholson says. Or Peter Lawwell. I don't want to give them the time of day. But in terms of what Wilfried Nancy said, he commented that I'm so happy to be named as Celtic manager. It's a massive honour for myself and my family. Before I say anything else, I want to do one thing. I want to give great thanks to Martin O'Neill, or I want to thank the great Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney for all they have done in recent weeks with the team. They have done a fantastic job. These guys have given so much to the club across so many years, and I know our fans like me all recognise the brilliant job they have done during this recent period. They have my total respect and my total gratitude. I hope to meet them both very soon and thank them personally. Now it's up to me to carry on the great work and carry our great club forward. I can't wait to get going and become part of such a brilliant institution. Celtic is one of the world's proper football clubs. Real atmosphere, heart and soul, real high standards, real demands, which I am ready for. I know the history, I know the values of Celtic, and I know what is expected of me on this journey. I know what Celtic means to so many people, and my number one aim will be simple: to give our fans strong, exciting, attacking, winning football, a team they can be so proud of. I look forward to seeing all of our fans very soon, and I hope we can enjoy these great moments together. So, as I said, Peter Lawwell, Michael Nicholson, and Dermot Desmond, who was named as Celtic's principal shareholder in the statement, all added in comments as well, which you can read for yourself because I'm not giving them the time of day. And that was the statement this afternoon. So Wilfried Nancy has officially been appointed in charge of the club as the new football manager of Celtic, and I'm excited, man. I'm ready to get going. I'm feeling good about it. I've been won over by the notion of Wilfried Nancy. I was won over very, very quickly. If you've been watching the channel long enough, the more I watch of him, the things I see about him, his mentality and such, I'm hoping for the best. And listen, this is a risk. We all know it's a risk. It's a huge risk. But it was always going to be, with whatever appointment we made. Any appointment was a risk. And I've said this, and this is the last time I'm going to say this, because now the job is done. The search is over. We have our manager, and our job now is to get behind our new manager. Our job is to support them, and our job is to cheer on the team and to give them our support and our backing. But the last thing I'll say in regards to the whole situation, and for those who are still nervous and have their reservations about the choice that Celtic have went for, I can't help but reiterate this. Like, it was never going to be an ideal time for Celtic to make an appointment. And the big dreams of the Newtsons of this world and the McKennas were never going to be easy. As much as some of us might have wanted them, as much as I would have wanted them, I think that it was just always going to be difficult. There was never going to be a blockbuster appointment, especially under the circumstances that's followed on the boardroom these last few weeks. But there is no reason why Wilfried Nancy can't become a blockbuster appointment. So you might not think it right now, but I'm hoping in the next few years that we get something to look back on this appointment the way that we did with a certain Aussie unknown a few years ago, and then we can go, hey, what a ride that was, you know? So I'm excited. A 2.5-year contract. It's kind of what I expected. I mean, if he was appointed in the summer, it would have been a 3-year deal. So to get 2.5 years from this point onwards, it makes a lot of sense, to be quite honest. So, yeah, that's that. That was the statement. We're going to talk about that. He seems very charismatic, very... And I'm sure we've all seen it by now, especially if you're present on Twitter or X or anything like that. I'm sure that you've probably... EdgeFan316, yo! God. I'm sure you've seen it by now, but that video of him talking about not being an underdog, that got me going. That has hooked me right in. I mean, I was already hooked in. And, like, managers can say things. Like, at the end of the day, you will be judged on what you do in the park and what your teams do in the park. You won't be judged on what you say in a press conference or clips from the past or anything like that. But that was the kind of... I was watching that video and thinking to myself, hey, we're onto one here, I think. That might come back to bite me saying that. For all we know, it could be an absolute dud. Could go terribly. But it's football. And I'm really excited for something new. And me and Kieran from the Celtic the Thunder. We obviously sit beside each other at Celtic Park, and we were talking about it today. Like, I loved the notion of an Ange Postecoglou back at Celtic Park, and I love the notion of nostalgia, you know. But I don't want to be living in a revolving door being a Celtic fan. I don't. I want freshness. I want new things. I want something to be excited about, and I want the element of mystique to be around the club. I don't want to be just going back to the tried and tested all the time. Until the day I die, what am I just going to see a cycle of like Rodgers, Ange, Neil Lennon, and we're just going on this big cycle all the time? No. I think this is something that I'm so excited for, just because it is that has that element of the unknown. So yeah, 2.5-year deal starts tomorrow. We're awaiting for all the final details surrounding everything. What I do know and what I can tell you for definite, Anthony Joseph confirmed this evening at 10:30, 8 p.m. that his assistant coach Kwame Ampadu will join as well, alongside his fitness coach Jules Jejon and the video performance coach Maxime Chalier. So we have a very French coaching staff at Celtic. So that is to confirm Wilfried Nancy, Kwame Ampadu, Jules Jejon and Maxime Chalier all joining the club. As for the exacts about who else is coming in and who is leaving, if we get news as the stream goes on, I will give you that, but we are still awaiting a lot of details in regards to who's coming in, who's going and all that. Like, there is so much that will come out in the next couple of days. We don't also know who or when the first press conference will be. We're still waiting on that. We don't know when Celtic will announce the first press conference. If I was to guess, I don't think we'll hear from Wilfried Nancy tomorrow. I think they're going to probably hold off till the press conference that would normally be on Friday for the weekend's game, so that he can actually work with the full team tomorrow, the full day with the team tomorrow. Like, it just makes sense. I might be wrong on this. There's nothing to suggest that Celtic might keep him in late and say we're doing a late night press conference and we're doing one in the evening or whatever. But I think if I was to take a wild stab in the dark at it, I think that ideally they give him the full day to work with the team tomorrow. Friday, they give him the time to work with the team while also doing his normal press duties, and they kind of do 2 in 1 there. It's nuts because I've never been here in my lifetime. Celtic have never appointed a permanent manager mid-season. It's never happened. In fact, I think you have to go all the way back to, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you might need to go all the way back to Liam Brady for the last permanent manager who was appointed mid-season. I could be wrong on that. But in my lifetime, Martin O'Neill was appointed in the summer when I was a baby. Gordon Strachan was appointed in the summer. Tony Mowbray was appointed in the summer. Neil Lennon was a weird one because he was interim and then he got made permanent, but still, it was done in the summer permanently. Then you go to Ronnie Dyla, done in the summer. Brendan Rodgers, done in the summer. Ange Postecoglou, done in the summer. And then, of course, Brendan Rodgers returning. So in my lifetime, this has never happened. So we don't really have anything to go off. We should ask Rangers supporters. They're clued up in it. It's their specialist subject and fucking mastermind. They know the ins and outs about appointing managers mid-season. So, Macari, I'm getting told in the chat, Macari might be the last one. There you go. I knew it was around that era somewhere. So, you know, in my lifetime, I've never ever experienced this. So, yeah, we're still awaiting all those details about when his first press conference will be, when we'll hear from him speaking to the supporters properly for the first time. All we do know is he starts tomorrow, he's managing on Sunday, and honestly, that's all I care about. I want to see the football, I want him to get as much time. If it was up to me, if it was possible, I'd tell him, I'd be sending Sean Maloney or something out if he's still around the club to do the press matters tomorrow. Or sorry, Friday. Let Wilfried work with the team, and we'll hear from him pre-match on Sunday. That's by the way I'd go about it. Thank you to Damien, by the way, and thank you to Darren for becoming supporters of the channel whilst I've been ranting away. Thank you to MC Barry Boy for another £2 donation saying Les Big Franchement. So aye, that's that. So I guess we turn to you. I'm still awaiting more details. I'm seeing people talking in the chats suggesting that the likes of Fozzie might be away. I've seen people suggesting that maybe even Gavin Strachan's away. There has been no confirmation by the club or anybody really of note, to my understanding, about other members of staff. The only thing we've been told, as I've already mentioned, was Anthony Joseph's tweet about the 3 coaches coming in with Nancy. But that hasn't said that Maloney's gone, that Fozzie's gone, that Strachan's gone. We will probably get a full update from the club over the next 24 hours in regards to who's still employed, who isn't employed, who's staying with Wilfried Nancy, and who's, you know, we'll probably hear all of that soon. I think there's going to be a lot of speculation online tonight. I think people will start to put 2 and 2 together because they'll be looking at the size of coaching staffs and stuff like that. But until I have something definite in front of me to suggest that such and such is here or such and such is away, we can't really go off any of that. So I'm going to hold down the fort, refresh things as quickly as I possibly can, and bring you that news as the stream goes on if there's any. But for now, finally, let's get back to the chat and let's get to you guys, because I'm sure you've got a lot of things to say. I'm sure you've got a lot of points that you want to bring up, and I'm sure that you have so many thoughts going through all of your individual heads right now. We have over 800 live viewers in the chat. It is quite late. It's 11:15. I'm not going to stay on here too late. I understand some of us have work. Not me, because this is my job. I understand some of us have uni, school, whatever it might be. So we'll try and keep things, you know, whatever. And we'll get there as much as ever. Well, shall we start with some skepticism, shall we? Because I think it's fair to look at both sides. It's all very, very well and good for me to sit here and try and convince you that this is going to be good and give you my opinions. But I also think it's fair to look at the other side of the fence. I always want to try and give so many opinions a platform here on the stream. So we'll start with Joe, who says, I'm not too confident bringing in a manager that's probably never ever seen or watched Scottish football, especially with the run of games we have. If he loses the league, there will be calls for his head. Of course, there's going to be reservations with that. But the way that I look at it, Joe, and I think the way that I would try and calm anybody on that side of things is, unless you're going for a British manager, or more in particular, a Scottish manager, of course people are going to have limited experiences of watching Scottish football. And to be honest with you, there's not many names out there that I would take that are familiar with Scottish football. This is how you end up coming down the paths of your Neil Lennons. I get that. I get that reservation. But a good coach, I'm going to get merch made. I'm going to put this in a fucking t-shirt. A good football coach is a good football coach. No matter where they're doing it in the world. No matter who they're up against. No matter who they're using as their squad. If you're good at it, on you go. I'm sure there's been plenty of managers who have stepped into it. Do you think he watched a lot of American MLS soccer when he went to Columbus Crew? Or when he went to Montreal, I should say. Probably not. Yeah, he went over there, won a league title and won the League's Cup. Won Coach of the Year. A good coach is a good coach. They know how to work. They know how to adapt. I think one of the most underrated things when we talk about coaches, and I think one of the reasons why we've seen the likes of Ange fail down south, why we've seen the likes of other great managers fail in certain places, is because they fail to adapt. Adaptability is one of the most important traits of a footballing coach. If you can't adapt, you will fail. You need to adapt to your surroundings. And as long as he can do that in Scotland, he'll get on just fine. It's stubbornness that kills managers. It's stubbornness that killed Brendan Rodgers towards the end of his Celtic tenure. It didn't change things. It's what cost Ange's job at Tottenham. It's what's cost so many managers their jobs. If you can adapt, you will do well. Because you're a good coach and you know how to do things. So that's the way I like to look at it. Do you think Wilfried will show us his Nancy? What a question. Let's make him feel at home by chanting, "You're not singing over there, God, Nathan." Don't suggest that. People take it seriously. After the destruction the board have caused, we need Brother Wilfried to deliver us from evil. Yep, absolutely. Kieran saying that Martin O'Neill stepping in and doing the job he did shines a new light over the Rodgers saga. That's not up for debate, I think. Look, it's in the past now. We have been very poor over the course of this season in terms of our general performances. But what Martin done and what he should be remembered for is grinding out those results when they mattered most, because it was something we couldn't do before he came in and towards the end of Rodgers' tenure. The frailties of this Celtic squad have still very much been there, and that included tonight's performance. We were piss poor tonight. And I think at some point along the line, Rodgers probably stopped caring, and the squad probably came to the end of what they could offer him. But it's in the past. What's most important now is that Wilfried Nancy comes in, inherits the momentum that Martin has started to build. He goes into January, improves the squad, and we kick on from there. Let bygones be bygones. I remember every manager positively if they've delivered positive things to Celtic. Doubles, trebles, whatever it is. So that's how I'll choose to remember it. And if Nancy comes in and wins us the league title, it's not going to mean much to me in that regard. But yeah, listen, it does shine, it does ask questions, especially, I think most importantly when it comes to, and what I will agree with you on there, Kieran, is definitely when it comes to like squad selection, because there was players who weren't getting enough minutes, players being played doing whatever they were doing, and you wonder why now when you look back on what Martin O'Neill done, but, you know, it's what it is. Gonna miss your Bills supporting Celtic manager. God bless you, Martin. See, the Bills have just picked up Darius Slay, dirty buggers. I just want attacking football. I hope he can bring it. He absolutely will. I mean, he looks as though that's his thing. It looks as though that's his thing. So I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it, and look forward to it. And I'm looking for that sustained improvement as the games go by. I think as a support, we need to do a really good job at not overestimating what he can do on a short-term basis. I mean, granted, if he can come in the space of 1 month, 2 months, get this team playing amazing football, firing on cylinders, I'm not going to pass up on that. Of course I'm not. I'm not going to turn my nose up at that. But I think we also, as a support, need to realise I don't care what anybody says. Once again, just one man's opinion. This squad is pish. It's terrible. And tonight, it reminded me of how bad it is. Because we were really, really poor. You can see Martin O'Neill down in the touchline, begging for more. And players would turn back, pass the ball backwards. They're under we just don't have a lot of bravery or quality in this squad right now. So am I expecting Wilfried Nancy to come in with a magic wand and change that? No. I'm expecting him to do what Martin O'Neill done, and that's grind out results, at least until January, when he can start making his own signings. So, I think as a support, it's really, really important that we don't overestimate the influence this new manager will have immediately. This is going to be something that will take time. Whether you like it or not, it's going to take some time. Is that an excuse to go and lose games and drop points? No, of course not. We should still be winning games of football, even with this poor Celtic side. But it's going to be a patient, systematic change. And a lot of people are already asking, 3-5-2 and all this, and what shape will he be doing, and this, that, and the next thing. I would be shocked if he goes into the weekend and does the full change. We don't have the tools for it. And once again, it comes back to the same point. Adaptability. He needs to evaluate the squad. He needs to adapt to what he can do with this group of players and move forward from there. But until he has depth in all the areas required, I would be stunned if he jumps straight into this free at the back or whatever he wants to do. I would be stunned. If he does, fair play. I'm all for it and I'm dying to see it. But I think, once again, it's all about patience. And we have to be patient. We have to be. I know we're a demanding fan base and we have high expectations, as we should. We're Celtic. But we also need to be realistic. And I think that the problem is, in the modern day, especially with social media being around, you don't necessarily see it in the ground as much, but especially online, people just don't have patience. We're all TikTok, brain rotted, short attention span. We want things at the click of our fingers. Doesn't work like that. And strap yourself in for there will be rocky moments. But I'm here for them. 100%. Matthew said he thinks he'll only change the shape if he gets the signings in January. I would agree with that, to be honest. But then again, I've not spoke to the guy. I don't know. He may be already planning out. He may be like that. Okay, I'm going to have Tierney, Scales and Trusty. I'm going to have Sriracha. I'm going to have Johnson when he's back out there. I'm going to have... But he may be seeing it. He may have his visions. He may be ready to go. For all we know. You remember when Ange came in, they had their first training session mic'd up? Yeah, I remember it. Of course, that was where the famous line came from, was it? We never stop. I wonder if they'll do the same. To be fair, Celtic social media content is absolute fucking drivel, so I wouldn't expect anything good to come out. Sriracha being injured again as a boy. Yeah, I hope we get a full update on that as the next few days go by, but I really like Sriracha, and if it's a bad injury, if he's out for any number of games, I will be absolutely gutted, because he is he's been a breath of fresh air into the team. And once again tonight, I think if you look at their two spells in the park, twice as good as Tierney was. So aye, you would end Sriracha's loan, Mackenzie. Christ, that's brutal. Is Jota back? No, not for months. You're talking end of January if we're lucky. He probably won't kick a ball till March. Jota. He's had enough time to think about what he will do. It's took us long enough to appoint him. I mean, fair enough. I'm waiting for the January window to rock up, and for things to kind of, come out the way they usually do. Oh, it's a notoriously difficult window to sign players. We'll see how that goes. He looks injury prone. I think I feel like us as Celtic fans have become very, like, people get like 2 injuries now and go, they're injury prone. Like, my God, they're athletes. They're going to get injuries. God forbid some people try and watch other sports, because fucking we get it late here. We've waited years for a better squad that performs in Europe. Smaller clubs are managing it without the financial clout Celtic have. Michelin, for example. Box of Frogs we open every now and then. It's probably not best for tonight, but you're not wrong. Geff Star. What a name, by the way. When will the Many Men edit for Nancy be released? I don't know. Whoever's good at making edits, get it. Actually, I don't want Many Men. We need new songs for edits. We need to start associating people with actual songs. And we need something like, do you know what I would get? Oh, no, it wouldn't work, because it was hard. Do you know what would have been great? Did anybody remember Veja Dream with the World Cup songs, and they were crackers? Like, Ramez la coupe à la maison, allez les bleus, allez. Anybody remember it? Brilliant tune. Get something like that. There's got to be some class French rap out there that we can get associated with with Nancy. Let's keep the questions. I'll stay live for probably at least another 10-15 minutes, because it is a big night. It's a huge night in regards to the future of the club. Our new manager is actually here. There'll probably be a lot of streams and stuff over the next few days. I'll probably do a stream reacting to at Nancy's first press conference, in fact. So just keep an eye out on the channel. Content will probably be all over the place in the next few days, and I'm sure that you all understand on your end. Your throat is beeling for singing Martin O'Neill's name. I feel it. I want an apology for saying you'd punt Rio in January. Boy's been great for the last 6 weeks consistently. I'm not going to apologise, because I wouldn't. I'm not getting into it. It's a different. Listen, if Hatate wants to go, I'd still sell him in January. I know some people won't like it that I'm saying it. I don't care. He's been great for the last few weeks. 100%. But the amount of times I've said that about Rio Hatate over the last 4 years, I'm fine with moving on. I'm also fine if he stays. I don't care either way. I'm kind of at that stage where I'm like, okay. But I'm done with player. I'm done being a Celtic supporter that has to go about a player. Oh, they're great, and then for 3 weeks after that, I have to go. Oh, they're shite. I'm done with it. I can't be bothered getting dragged into it. So no, I'm not going to apologise, Nathan. I'm not going to apologise. If he keeps up till the end of the season, if he stays, then I will. Happy memberversary to me. Who's taking it in Abu Dhabi this weekend? Bailey, great question. It's obviously going to be Max. We are all Max Verstappen. We are all Max Verstappen. All Max Verstappen. If anybody in this chat is Lando Norris, leave. Thank you. I'd build the team around Rio, Maeda and Jota. What year is it? 2022? Maeda and Rio are both not going to be here next season. I feel like I can virtually guarantee you that right now. They will not be here next season. Whether they're here beyond January or not, different story. But once again, can we get one last Fozzie impression, please? Guys, I have 3 wee boys, right? And see when they've made a mistake, like they've went and they've put their hand on the hot cooker or the oven or that, they'll no do that again. And I'm no saying that my young players are like that, but when they make that mistake, they'll no make that again. If you want to coast, you want to do 3 out of 5 days, there you go, one for the road. I want Fozzie so much. I don't want him to go. I really don't want him to go. I feel like he's going to go, and it breaks my heart, to be quite honest with you. But if there is a job for him available at the club, it should be at the utmost priority that he gets that job, you know? Also, I never pulled my hair out. Everybody saying Liam Scales player of the year so far. Boy looked like a competition winner. Yeah, it wasn't great tonight, but once again, he has been Celtic's player of the year. I am a famous Liam Scales critic. I actually think that Celtic moving forward still need to look at improving in that department. But there is no doubt about it that he has been Celtic's player of the year. He has been. Fitzy Lisbon, good to see you, brother. Tenecki isn't Jota, if anyone could lift it. God, we've moved away. It's almost as if we've not got a new manager coming in. I feel like we've just... it's like, alright, he's here and we're just moving on. But just you guys get to dictate the chat. It's yous that get to choose what we talk about. That's the whole point in this section of the stream. It's the whole point. Jamie Vardy would have been a great fit for a year or two. I think Martin will be back before the end of the season is out. Well, that's great confidence to have in the manager. I listen, nothing to suggest that will happen. And if can I make it clear right now? I think it would take a significantly bad time. This is something I feel like we should touch on. Because there's people out there, and I've said this, I'm not going to take it back. This isn't directed to the comment or the question that I brought up in the chat there a moment ago. This is in relation to some tweets I've seen. I got dug up about this on Twitter. I posted a tweet weeks ago saying there are people out there who want Nancy to fail. And there is. I don't care what anybody says. There is. There is people that want him to fail just so they can put up a tweet saying, I told you so. I said this would happen. There are people, they exist. They people are there. And cool. Who am I to say that you can't be in that boat? You want to be in that boat? Fair enough. But I do think it's strange. Also, on that note, it would take a significant shit show for him to be gone by the end of the season. And when I say significant shit show, I mean like not win the league title in a disastrous fashion. Because even if he was to lose the League Cup final, and even if we weren't to win the Scottish Cup, if he goes on and wins the league, like they're going to probably still back their man in the summer. Whether the fans like it or not, whether if I like it or not. I think it would take a significant failure for Nancy not to be here next season. And I really don't see that significant failure happening. I think he'll win the league. And if honestly you want... No, do you know what? I'm not getting clipped. I'm not getting clipped. Nah. Not getting clipped. I was going to go a step further there. But I do think he'll win the league. I think he'll win the league. And we just need to... I think more than anything, unless there is an actual downturn of the century and we're really bad and you can just see it's never going to work. Like, if it's like Ruben Amorim levels of fucking bad, like... I just think that we should be patient because we need to throw away this fucking bratish attitude of not having any patience. Like, is things going to be perfect in 6 weeks' time? No. Are things going to be perfect in 6 months' time? No. Of course not. And I think that 90% of fans are on that boat and that side of things. I really do. I think it's a very small amount of fans who will just refuse to give them time and will expect instant drubbings of teams and instant, like, you know, they want to see 4-5-0 wins and Celtic back to their best. I think you could put Pep Guardiola in charge of the Celtic team right now and he'd probably struggle. The team is pish. End of. That's that. No, I wasn't going to say he'd win the Europa League, Matthew, but you know what? While we're here, he's going to fucking win the Europa League. Celtic released a video for Martin O'Neill. Oh god, should I react to it live on stream? No, I better not, because I'll end up getting copyrighted or something. Celtic are probably looking for any excuse to fucking strike me after some of the things I've said in the last 2 weeks. Hi Ryan, our wingers are poor, none of them are good, and Yang proving once again tonight he's not Celtic quality. Sunday he's in for a big game. I feel it for... What did I say? What? People piping up after the last game or two going, oh, Yang's brilliant. No, he's no. He's pish. He's always been pish and always will be pish. But he's still, and it's a sad day that he's Celtic's most effective winger. He is Celtic's best winger in relation to actually making an impact on games and being effective as a winger. But he's pish. He is. And I think that some of it's harsh tonight. But I think he showed, like, once again, we can't just keep doing this dance where we go, oh, somebody's played well twice. They're back. He's no back. He was never back. Sorry if it sounds harsh. But I agree 100% with Rayan in the chat. 100%. Nate Grin needs a new pair of legs. Guys, painfully one paced. He's not the fastest player in the world. Definitely not. I'd rather shave... this isn't me saying this. I just want to make this clear before anybody tries to clip anything here. I'd rather shave my nuts with a cheese grater than watch Yang start weekly. Which I think is a fair assessment of things. Bill Scotland also on the Yang note says, I think if you gave me the same amount of games Yang has, I reckon I could have had the same number of good games as him. I loved this point earlier, right? So one of my closest mates, go over Europe watching Celtic with him. And he sits in 4-1-2 as well. He made a point tonight about how one of the things I think frustrates me. I'm going to read his exact message out. I doubt he's watching, so I would say shout out to him. But I just want to say this because I laughed when he said it. Let me just get it. Let me just find it. Give me a moment. Oh, aye. This whole thing about... See when we have a player who's evidently shite, right? And I think it's a great point. I agree with it 100%. When a player is evidently shite, and the defence that Celtic supporters give them is, ugh, but he gives it his all. And, in the words of Peter Kay in Phoenix Night, and, what do you mean he gives it his all? I'd give it my bastard no. That was his exact words. Oh, he gives it his all. Very good. I'm glad he does. I'm glad he gives it his all, considering he's paid thousands. I mean, I'm not targeting one specific player here, but it's just that same thing. People go, oh, you know, people go, oh, he gives it his all. I'd like to fucking hope. You know, when did that become the fucking the benchmark for a football player? That they give it their all. Good. I'd hate to see him give it half if that's it, giving his all. You know, there's some players I look at and I say that, and I'm like, you know, it pisses me off. I'm done with it. And Yang's been one of those ones. But he gives it his all. So what? Get me in the field. I'll give it my all, and I'll be just as fucking useful. But it was a great point. It was a great point. And I think that there is some people that have made that the benchmark for being an acceptable standard at Celtic, and I'm like, we can't do it. We can't. So, I just thought I'd get that one off my chest there. Tanecki has fallen off so bad it's ridiculous. Most of the players have gained confidence, but he looks as though he's lost it completely. Yeah, it is on fraud watch, 100%. 100%. I titled a video that Tanecki is a star, and as a kind of half jokey way, because it was Partick Thistle who we played in the cup, but he has not lived up to that kind of opening couple of games where we thought we saw a lot of potential in him. So, you know, God, we're going through so many different... Is he the new Palma? Well, Palma might be the new Palma if the reports are to believe that he's coming back. So, you know. We'll wait and see. Should replace Yang with a mannequin for a game and see if it's worse than him. We should get bets going on that, David. We should get bets going on it. Genuinely would give Balikwisha a chance, but he's away soon to AFCON, yeah. There's some. The thing is, though, I said this the other, kind of like as a hopeless defender for whatever. I don't know why I'm defending him. There's no real reason to defend him, but like as a hopeless defender of Balikwisha, I said in the channel the other night, like it's hard to talk about him accurately because we just haven't seen him. So like, and when we have seen him, yeah, he's not been good enough, but it's been such short, small periods in games. I think that maybe some of the reaction to him has been a little bit of it's been a little rash, but like. That's two managers now who have just flat out refused to play him. And I trust Martin O'Neill, and albeit some people in here just don't want to, but I trust Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers' appraisal of the player, especially Martin O'Neill's. Martin O'Neill's been around the game for a long time. He's worked with some great players, he's worked with some shite. And if he couldn't get minutes under Martin O'Neill, that says a lot. That says a whole lot. So... the Balikwisha one is strange. I want to see him get a chance, but if he's not getting the chances, that must mean something. Like, what's happening at Lennox Town? If he's not getting in ahead of Tanecki, or Yang, or McCowan being used as a winger when he can't play on the wings, by the way, McCowan was terrible tonight. Balikwisha must be terrible. He must be, but we'll wait and see. Maybe Nancy will fancy him. We'll just have to wait and see. That game showed that Tanecki struggles with physical players, looks scared to take on his man and instead passes it back. He is Mikey Johnson from Wish. Now that's harsh now. That's harsh. I'll take comparisons to Mikey Johnson, but I won't call him the Mikey Johnson from Wish. On that note though, and just to build on what Ronan has said, we don't have any good wingers. We don't. Maeda is the closest to it, and we don't even know if Maeda's going to stay. We don't have good wingers. Well, Jota, and he's injured. He's as good as dead. And he's probably not going to kick a body march, as I said. So, we don't have any good wingers. So that's got to be the utmost priority in January. I think that we need to sign there quickly in the window, and I'm hoping that maybe Wilfried Nancy's coming over with a wee black book with names inside it that can get us players there. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Aidan saying, some of the shit I've seen online saying Nancy will fail. Can't believe people are already writing them off after what happened with Ange. Some people just don't like learning their lesson. And as I said, there's a big... Really, once again, everybody's entitled to their opinion. If you think he's going to fail, cool. I mean, you might be right. And if you are, then good. But there's a vindication thing there. People like to be vindicated on stuff like that. Just like I... Listen, do you think I do this YouTube channel without hoping that I get vindicated on things I say? Of course I do. Of course I want to be vindicated on things that I say. But, you know, I also try and make sure that I'm saying things balanced, fairly, and with fair judgment, you know, and that's why I always try and do it. And even if I'm wildly wrong, I always try and at least do it with fair judgment. And I think that the judgment on Nancy by some people is way off, especially because he has had a very successful managerial career to this point. You know, people are entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to take it from them. If they don't think it's a good appointment, that's fair. Completely fair. Don't want to add to the negativity, but even when Jota is back, it will take him a while to start playing. Yeah, listen, I think the one thing is, like, we're looking at Jota as the saviour right now. I 100% agree. Jota is probably not going to look like Jota at all this season. And I think you need to get used to that. We aren't going to see Jota until August next year. It's just how fitness works. So, it's a big injury he's coming back from, remember. A big injury. Can we not sign MLS players now since their season is over, or do you have to wait until January? No, we can sign in January. We can sign MLS players starting now, but they couldn't actually play for Celtic till January 1st because we can't register them till January 1st. So, simple as that, really. Do I have a soft spot for American sport? What gave it away? I've always liked American sport. I always have. I've been an NBA fan basically all my conscious lifetime, it feels like. I've enjoyed the NBA since I was like 11, 12 years old. So from the beginning of high school, I've always kept in touch with NFL, and then the last few years I've really, hopefully Jota doesn't come back with knees like Neymar. I don't want, no, do you know what, I'm not getting dragged into anything. Well, no, I don't want to get that sort of, don't want to get down that load of, that kind of side of negativity. If that's Bailey, we'll get what time are we on? 1:45. I'll go live 8 more minutes. We'll stay live. We'll round it up to a nice hour, and then I'm heading off. I'm just going to check my phone quickly in case there's been any news. But keep your points coming in. We'll be live. We'll round up the stream to an hour mark, so about 8 more minutes, and then I'm going to jump off. I'm not seeing anything significant in terms of staff situations that we haven't already spoke about on the stream. I'll come back to Bailey here. If Nancy comes in and implements his formation from Columbus, I think Bartleisha should hopefully look better. I do think it also opens the door for Palma to get another chance, and it might suit Nygren. Yeah, look, it's a fresh start for so many different players. And maybe a last chance for some as well. I've already seen people in the chat saying recall Navrowski, or recall Palma, recall such and such, or do this, do that. Ultimately, there are some players that I think are just pish. But, if they get a chance, they get a chance. And I will support them in getting that final chance. I don't necessarily think they should. I don't want Navrowski back. He can't get a game for Hanover. So why should he suddenly get a recall into the Celtic team? He wasn't that good. But if he gets it, I'm going to support him. I'll be cool. But I don't think he will. Some of them, no. I agree, if Palma gets a chance, he might. But I think that's all coming off one article that really doesn't have anything sort of... There's some people in the chat that go off win rates and goal scoring statistics. They mean fuck all. Especially when Wilfried Nancy's coming into Celtic with a better win rate than basically any other manager that's came into Celtic. It's just a fucking stupid... I can't believe we're still talking about win percentages. People that analyse football with statistics and numbers don't have a fucking clue. Or Tony Bloom with his £600 million gambling empire. Odin Thiago Holm comes back in January. He does. I would be stunned if he gets near the team. I mean, how many games did he end up playing? Actually, for... Let's see. Odin Thiago Holm. How many games did he end up playing? Oh, there we go. Oh my God, is that it? 5 games. 5 games is what he ended up playing. He ended up getting moved down to the MLS Next Pro League to play, which is like the B team league. But that's not a good sign. That's not good. I didn't even know that. That's really bad. The thing is, there was that interview that came out. It was Holm saying I've not given up at making it at Celtic, which, cool, good. I'm glad you've not, but you're probably not. You're probably not going to make it at Celtic if you can't get a game for LAFC. So, I guess that's what to look at in January. I would be stunned if he was injured for ages. That's right, so he was. That is fair. That is fair. But I would be stunned if he gets into the team or anywhere near it. I think it is time to find a home for Holm away from Celtic. Right, 4 more minutes. So keep them in. David's saying, for me, he's won silverware, and that's what we want in the manager. No point in getting annoyed about him. He's appointed. It's done now. I know, at the end of the day, the only thing I can say is it's time to get over it if you didn't want him. He's the manager now. And support any Celtic manager, man. Listen, I didn't want Robbie Keane. If it was Robbie Keane, I would have supported him because he was the Celtic manager. Probably not with the same heart that I would have supported other appointments or past managers, but I would have still supported him because, he was Celtic manager. At the end of the day, that's our leader. So that's the way I think about it with Nancy. I mean, there's no point in crying about it. There's not. Shin Yamada as well. Aye. I read somewhere that Joe was coming back in late January, early February. I mean, he might. I would be stunned. I don't think there's actually been any confirmation from the club either. It is all hearsay. So we'll learn more about that as January comes to its conclusion. So we'll wait and see. Right. I'm going to wrap it up. I said I was going to run it up today, Mark, but I'm getting tired. I want a cup of tea before I go to my bed. I want to watch a couple of episodes of King of the Hill, to be honest. So, ladies and gentlemen, Wilfried Nancy begins tomorrow. Martin O'Neill is gone. I think on that vein, just to finish off, I want to make one clear one more time. Thank you, Martin O'Neill, for the job that you've done, not only in this interim spell, but with your first tenure in charge of the club as well. I mean, an absolute legend. As a guy that you could argue the case for a statue day and night at Celtic Park, the success that he delivered. Let me just make one thing clear right before I log off. In the 21st century, there hasn't been a big two in Scottish football. There hasn't. Some people across the city might not want to swallow that pill. There's been a big one. There's been a Barcelona and an Espanyol. And the green and white team have been the Barcelona. And a lot of that is because of Martin O'Neill. You can thank him for a lot of the 21st century dominance that Celtic have went through. And obviously we've had some help along the way. Great managers. Strachan, Rodgers, Ange. Great business model which has helped to an extent. You can thank the liquidators and HMRC. But a lot of what we've experienced in the 21st century and from the turn of the millennium started with Martin O'Neill. He transformed Celtic Football Club from the bleak and dire place that we were in the 1990s to the powerhouse we find ourselves today. And I will reiterate it. There is a big one in Glasgow. And there has been for the last God knows how long. We aren't chasing anymore. We are the ones that need to be chased. So thank you to Martin O'Neill. Thank you for coming in and steadying the ship. And enjoy Coronation Street over the next week, mate. Because you should. Get the feet up. Take some time off. Reflect. And, aye. What a legend. The new era begins. And we'll talk about that over the next few days in the channel. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. I'll see you all.